Hello to you who are here, super curious, wanting to know a little more about who we are. Today we are going to learn about Anna Maria's story. Anna Maria has a very curious, very special life story. She tried to commit suicide 5 times. During one of those times, she had a near-death experience. And during her life, she had another near-death experience, which had nothing to do with those suicide attempts. It was during an operation, a surgery. She was undergoing it and had a near-death experience there as well. In other words, one person, 2 NDEs. And what's most curious about all this is that the NDEs she had nothing to do with each other. They were completely different. Shall we try to understand this a little more? Watch her interview.
Good evening, Anna.
Good evening.
First of all, I would like to thank you for being here with us in our study group on near-death experiences. And I'd like you to tell us then, share with us how this story happened, when it happened, how it happened, and everything you experienced.
My first experience came from a suicide attempt. So I fell into a coma. I was rescued, taken to the hospital, already unconscious. For 3 long days, as I was told much later on, I was completely unconscious. I was in a deep medical coma, and I remained intubated the entire time. By the time the second day arrived, I suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. The feeling during that cardiac arrest was one of, at first it felt almost as if I was completely enveloped in it, in a very dark place. I was, because even while being in a deep coma, I was still somewhat aware that I was in a very difficult situation, and I could feel everything happening around me, that I wouldn't be able to communicate with anyone. I could feel the pain when they moved me, when they came to turn me over or adjust whatever I was connected to, the machines, the equipment. I could feel that. I could smell and hear things. Then there were moments of complete silence and darkness. In one of those surreal moments, I suddenly found myself floating high above my own body, and I could see everything clearly. I could see my body lying there, and I saw many people running around, medical equipment everywhere, and doctors trying to help, administering things, but I saw it all very quickly. That scene of my body was brief. And at the same time that I was seeing myself there, I was pulled away, so to speak. I was taken in a very gentle, incredibly clear way, and it felt quite peaceful. With a very pleasant air and a deep sense of peace, I moved into a long tunnel. This tunnel had bright rhythmic flashes of light all along the sides. Everything happened so incredibly quickly in the brief passing of these vivid flashes, where I could clearly see myself, not the physical body I have today, but I knew deep down it was me. In various situations with other families, in other places and in other times, it was very clear to me that it was from another era entirely, somewhere very far away in the distant past. Until the moment when I arrive at a time where I am sitting on a street with lighting, very old lighting, a street paved entirely with stones. Me sitting there, I had a piece of paper in my hands, there was a bottle, and I was like this, very dirty. Drunk. Been crying. And then, quite suddenly, I hear a distinct voice. It was actually the very first voice I had heard, someone saying to me, "Don't leave, stay right there. He is coming right now to help you." the scene shifts completely. I find myself lying in a bed, but I am still covered in dirt from before. I look up and see a man who I now recognize as Luis, my husband. He is tenderly taking care of me and washing me clean. Nearby, there was a small child who was crying very loudly. Although I couldn't see her face clearly at that moment, I felt an absolute certainty in my heart that it was my daughter, the same daughter I have today, Talita. A cry like that, very sad, very full of suffering, and that was the only moment in the whole episode. When I felt anguish. I felt anguish and I wanted to go back. I wanted to be able to see that child, but it wasn't shown to me. I didn't see.
Had that child already been born, your daughter?
That child had already been born.
Was she little?
She was a teenager.
And did you see her as a child?
I only heard her, but you got it right. The certainty that it was her is, even for me, a mystery, but I'm sure it was her. Then I hear another voice. Go back, it's not time yet. And I have a nickname in the family, which is Mia. Go back, Mia, it's not time yet.
No one said that?
I didn't see anyone, but I recognized the voice of one of my brothers. Then there's a return in time, but in a way that's different from entering that tunnel. I didn't come back through it. I came back in a way that was clear in terms of knowing that I went through it, that I experienced that, and that I had to come back. So the feeling at the moment of returning, I tried to resist. I wanted to stay, but to stay so I could find out whose crying that was, who that child was, to be able to see her, to hug her. So in that anguish I left, I came back with that anguish, which then started to ease, because the voice that called me back was calming me down. You're coming back, you're going to come back, and you're going to remember everything. And then after a while, I came back.
Anna, you made it very clear that this situation happened because it was a choice. At that moment, at least, to die.
Yes.
You tried to do that.
That's right. And
when you found yourself in some way in that situation, let's call it almost dead.
Dying?
You weren't dead, but you were intubated, you were in a coma. And what was the feeling like for you? Were you aware that you were there because you had attempted suicide?
I had attempted suicide.
And did that desire to stay dead persist? It
remained.
After you came back. It wasn't really something voluntary?
It wasn't just anything, yeah. It was actually a specific request. The way it all happened was unique. That mysterious voice expressed itself clearly as a formal request.
It's not
time yet. No, you're not going anywhere just yet. Now come back. You really need to come back to us. And so in that heavy, quiet moment, I became fully aware of exactly what I had done, and I understood the gravity of how the attempt had happened, which was specifically by ingesting a large amount of medication. I was aware of all of that. The profound feeling of intense fear, of overwhelming dread, and of deep despair, at no point during the experience did I feel that way at all. Suicide attempts, I've had 5. And in the others, I was very afraid, but I didn't go into a coma.
This was the worst one, right?
This was the worst one. And in this worst one, despite the whole process of being in a coma, it was, for me, an experience that made me grow. Showed me things I needed to see. I couldn't go on without having gone through it. That's why I'm absolutely sure of that. I truly had to live through that specific painful moment to fully understand the things I was experiencing right here. Things that I once thought were completely unbearable. So in that desperate attempt to escape it all, to commit suicide. I realized now that I wouldn't have recovered anything at all. I simply had to learn a deeper story that was unfolding. If I had not personally experienced every single bit of it myself, unless perhaps through the process of deep hypnosis, and I am honestly not even entirely certain that would be possible, I simply would not truly value, deeply understand, or fully accept the significance of my moment here today as someone incarnated as Anna in this physical body and alongside the very same man whom I had already been with once before. What did I take away from it? As a dedicated spiritist, my personal understanding of everything that I have gone through during this entire process is that I have been with him before. I truly believe I was with Louise, who is my husband now, throughout many other previous lives. In those times, I did many different things, and he was always there to take care of me and protect me, just as I was taking care of him here and now. That's the
interpretation you gave. The
interpretation I gave to what I saw, to what was shown to me. The second, and then there was the other instance when I was in a coma, which happened while I was undergoing a major surgical procedure on my cervical spine, the cervical column.
You had another experience again.
I did.
After that.
First one? After that first one.
And did you leave your body again?
I left again. But this time I left in a completely different way.
Were you under anesthesia?
I was under anesthesia.
I left during the anesthesia.
It was a surgery that was supposed to last 4 hours, but ended up taking 9 hours. So I saw myself standing outside in exactly the same way. I eventually left, but this time I didn't really want to go. I left quite calmly, but I was already wanting to come back very soon. It was as if I already knew the way, as if I knew that if I followed that path I would see again, thinking everything would be like the last time. But it wasn't. It was completely different. I remained hovering there for quite a long time, and during that extended period of time...
You hovered above your body?
Above my body.
Seeing your body?
Looking at my own physical body, and then gazing outside the hospital.
From the surgical environment?
From the surgical environment, but then I went very far.
Was there the tunnel again?
No, there wasn't a tunnel. It was a kind of incredibly intense and very strong light, a powerful force, a truly overwhelming and very strong energy that was steadily pulling me toward it. I had no control at all. I was being taken. So I went to places I don't know, that I've never been to, that I wasn't familiar with, and met people, but I was very well received. And everyone was always smiling at me, people just like we are here now.
And these places? Were you able to identify them later in another situation? No.
I have no idea. It's not anywhere I've ever been or seen in a photo or seen in a movie, nothing like that. So, but it was outside of our reality.
It was another world?
Completely. It was a completely different world. And like a kind of communication, it was purely mental, without any spoken words. I did not hear any actual voices in this second one. No one spoke to me, but there was communication. The communication telling me to calm down, that I was being comforted, warmly welcomed, but that I wouldn't stay. You are going to go back.
And did you want to go back?
And I did want to. In this case, I wanted to, but I didn't feel any anguish. I didn't experience any fear, any anguish, nothing in either of them. The anguish I felt in the first one was because I couldn't see the child, and I knew she was my daughter.
And at that moment, in that first experience, did you feel any regret?
I certainly did. I felt a deep sense of regret. When I saw that this dark tunnel was showing me things that, in point of fact, I really did not want to be seeing at all. Later, in the end, I was able to understand. I understood after I was taken, when I saw myself in that bed, being cared for, the love, the affection, the words, "I take care of you, I'm here to take care of you," were spoken by him. Before, they told me to wait. It was a voice that said, "Wait." So I heard the voice of a brother, an unfamiliar voice at first, the unfamiliar voice, then the voice of my brother, of Luis, my husband, and of the brother. "Come back." "Not now, you're not going." With the detail that this brother whose voice I heard didn't know I was in a coma, but then he was suddenly awakened. He woke up in the middle of the night wanting to know about me, and that's when he reached out, got in touch with the family, and found out I was in a coma. Under no circumstances whatsoever should you ever even begin to think of this as a beautiful dream, a distant, I don't know why.
Anna, do you have this conviction that it wasn't a nightmare, a dream?
No, it's because everything is tangible.
You think reality is
It's very intense. So like what I was actually seeing back then, they weren't just ordinary or simple things. They were very serious and profound things, because my specific moment of suicide, that actual attempt, was a very, very serious and heavy moment in my life. I went far beyond all my previous limits of awareness, finally realizing that I could actually follow other paths in life instead of attempting suicide. And I consciously chose it. So just as I chose that new direction, what they showed me were vivid scenes exactly like this one right here. They didn't leave me with any trauma, nothing like that. It was
enlightening.
It was enlightening, exactly, that's the word. They clarified things for me. They showed me things that I know. It's hard to put this into words. To know that I had to see, to go through, to experience, and to feel. Because I felt it. I felt the hands grabbing me. I felt dirty. I could smell things. So, strong odors, a very filthy place. So that's why it wasn't just a dream.
Anna, some people who have had near-death experiences, as far as we've been able to find out and read, they usually say that people who have a near-death experience related to suicide, the experience is very negative. Some don't. But in your opinion, do you think this experience wasn't a bad one?
No, not for me. It was
enlightening. Were you able to change anything in your life after this experience?